Guys, if a girl tells you she is into you, and you think she is beautiful, tell her that. Don't tell her she is out of your league. I think the biggest reason a guy says someone is out of their league is that they don't feel like they are worth much. Society doesn't tell guys they are worth anything intrinsically, and even if we've got a decent job and some friends etc., we are just average and where we are supposed to be. To find someone who wants us is so abnormal it can be scary and intimidating at times. It's both a plea and a warning. You know what, I'm right. Why would you ever want me? This is all I am. It's not his fault nobody has ever told him he's a king, handsome or even that he can do it. But you can do that for him. It'll mean the world. F this 110%. Honestly, in my opinion, I've never said that out loud to a girl but thought it to myself to keep me from asking a few out. But for me this is more than likely because most every girl I've asked out has rejected me some pretty harshly at that. The ones that did go out with me ended up playing with me, so I've developed some emotional scars from that. Fair enough. It's okay to think it, but try not to put yourself down so much. Women can tell when a man lacks confidence and it's usually not attractive. I'm really sorry you got rejected so harshly. Some people are real assholes. I hope you find the person for you and can heal from those scars. We all lack confidence because 90% of us are getting rejected constantly. Also a gal, though from a different view. If someone said I was out of their league I'd feel flattered, only cause no one has said it to me. But reading your point of view it makes sense you shouldn't put yourself down to compliment someone. Honestly, this whole league thing has to go anyway. There is no such thing, unless you're a butt. Agreed. The league thing makes no sense. That's just another reason I don't want to hear it. I don't speak on behalf of all men, obviously, but this is my take. We say it because we suspect we are not up to the same level as you in either social activity, physical activity, attractiveness, popularity, success etc. We associate this that we'll be dumped pretty quickly, won't be a good match, or won't make it past a first date etc. So we have essentially determined that further interaction is not worth the effort. I've done it previously. It's a very logical breakdown. Some men are very cost/benefit analysis orientated. I know for me, it's usually a self-confidence thing. At least in terms of looks. I feel like I'm such an average looking guy and girls haven't really shown interest in me over the course of my life. Now it feels like every woman is out of my league in some way. Like they would all be settling if they went for a guy like me. There's probably some dude way hotter than me that could be a better match. Plenty of beautiful women don't go for the hottest guy in the room. Personality and character matter a lot. Personally, I associate hot guys with superficiality and ego, which are not attractive. I know that's a bit hypocritical since I'm judging based on looks and perhaps attitude, but it is what it is. Close bracket. Logically, I know that's true, but it's hard to internalize or believe because it's never happened to me. Yeah, as dudes we don't realize that we don't do attraction the exact same way as girls. Just because you wouldn't date you doesn't mean a girl you like wouldn't. It's not impossible. We got this, dude. In other words, self-deprecation is not an attractive trait. The only times I actually say out of my league is when I'm talking about the movie or when I'm talking with my buddies about celebrities like Emilia Clarke. As someone who loves self-deprecating humor and some people's ability to look at themselves critically, I have to disagree. It can definitely be attractive because it requires you to be confident enough to be able to poke fun at yourself in front of others. What isn't cute is shooting yourself down, acting all woe is me, and trying to milk pity from people to try and salvage a damaged ego. People like healthy confidence in others. And you're out of my league either sounds like someone wasn't paying attention to the person in the first place, or they're just trying to summon compliments and those are big red flags. You're absolutely right. People can definitely make it work for them. A lot of times. Some guys like the shy, timid type have an extremely difficult time using it as a tool, whereas a guy who knows how to use his ability to make fun of himself as a way to prop himself and make others laugh is generally going to be a hit with others. I think it's one of those things that, if you don't know how to use it, You're better off nothing doing it at all. Can't you say this 5 years ago? He's telling you he believes you'll cheat on him with the first attractive guy that comes along. Same logic as companies who won't hire you because you're overqualified, even though you really want the job and are also unemployed. If anyone relates to this comment, then say that instead of "you're out of my league," it's down to earth, honest, and easier to understand. Don't beat around the bush when it comes to your feelings. If you can't do that, then work on your emotional/mental health instead of looking for a date. I have heard this, and sometimes this means you are making me feel inadequate too, and I had clarification it was you work a nice job and I just do this. I had explained my job in a way that made it sound nice when really it was a terrible job. You dress up when we go out and I look like a bum. I thought dressing up was a good thing, but it made my guy stress that he didn't dress as nice. Sometimes you just need to take a step back and see what you're doing. That may be making someone feel that way. Shit. Well, I guess I might be doing a poor job at making the other feel good about themselves. You said you don't go for overly confident macho guys. Neither do I. But I realized you have to put the work in if you go for the guys who aren't overly confident. Even if you think they are amazing, they don't know unless you tell them. My response once to "you're out of my league" was "I've seen you naked. You're out of my league." That got a good response. Haha. Yeah. If a girl is really pretty and she is into you, just take it in stride and don't make a big deal about how good she looks. Women who are beautiful kinda start to hate guys who pawn over them solely because of their beauty. It is kind of a joke to say "you're out of my league," but it comes from a place of weakness. Better to act casual, like these are the level of women your normal looking pulls on the daily. It looks like you're not even trying to get girls that are beautiful. Other beautiful women will see that you're a normal looking dude with a gorgeous girl and automatically want to know what's going on with you. I worked at a luxury store years ago and there was always this one white dude. He would come into the shop and every few months and he would have a new chick shopping with him that was badder than the one before. This dude was kinda overweight and chunky, like a dad bod. He never wore like super flashy designer clothes with fancy watches or anything. He just looked like a normal dude, but would roll up to the store and have literally Brazilian supermodel like 11/10ths beautiful with long dark hair, bronzed skin with toned abs and beautiful outfit on his arm holding a Guxy bag, and this dude just looked like annoyed buying some shoes in a polo shirt with a food stain on it, like he could give a ref less. We see them here and there and then bam. 6 months later he would have a black chick or a Asian girl all looking better and better than the last female. Maybe it was his attitude, or he was low-key super wealthy, but he never bowled out. At least not in my store. Confidence is key. If God gave it to you and it landed at your feet, then it's not out of your league. Money, women, work, anything. It's more about your attitude that is sexy and attractive more so than your looks or your clothes. I used to say this to girls, and although it was certainly intended as a compliment, I feel like more than anything, it was just my own way of voicing my overwhelming insecurities. Many men don't feel safe or comfortable expressing their self-doubt/self-hatred to others. We start to bottle those feelings up until they seriously skew the way we see ourselves and others. Eventually, it can reach a point where you truly feel like just about anyone is out of your league. But because you don't feel okay with asking for support or acceptance, you instead put yourself down in an indirect manner by disguising it as a compliment for someone else. Everyone is different, but for me personally it was just my own cringy way of trying to elicit sympathy from others. I also figured that even if I didn't get the sympathy I wanted, at least I'd just pulled off a sweet compliment on a cute girl. Right, obviously though, just like you stated, it is not endearing in the slightest, and it's certainly something that everyone should avoid saying. Yup. Constantly reassuring someone after they make self-deprecating comments designed as compliments is exhausting. And you can't be like, "Don't compliment me anymore," because it makes you sound ungrateful. People can mostly tell the difference between someone who likes to make casual jibes at themselves and someone using humor to disguise their deepest insecurities. I had to tell my boyfriend to stop saying it because it genuinely breaks my heart. Like, "Sir, I picked you for a reason, please. Don't question my judgment." Unless you're but is my biggest takeaway from this thread. I'm pleased. Life hack. Instead give this person a sincere compliment about something like their intellect, integrity, personality, etc. That you think about them as a person and admire what makes them unique. That's going to stand out way more to the person you like than comparing how we look. To quote Christina Yang, Grey's Anatomy, "Oh screw beautiful. I'm brilliant. You wanna appease me? Compliment my brain." So, thanks for the comment. It gives me a reason to try and talk to people who are out of my league. I also like to know what other people are experiencing. Why do people do this? I need some perspective. Because right now I'm really annoyed. I'm going to take a stab at this with some wild, unsubstantiated hypothesizing by someone who isn't very experienced with people in general, let alone dating. Most people don't believe this type of statement applies to themselves and probably are rarely on the receiving end. Applying the 80/20 rule without evidence that it applies here. But just for the sake of argument, 20% of people likely get 80% of these comments, and conversely 80% of people get 20% of the comments, and thus they develop a different relationship with the comment than the people giving them. Most people would think it's a compliment, but it can develop a different connotation when received a lot, especially when that compliment is always attached with a larger experience that isn't necessarily positive. I'm going to vent a little myself. I think I can kind of relate to how you feel. Even though I don't actually know how physically attractive I am. But I'm getting a PhD in mathematical statistics, and over an extended interaction with someone I can't always keep this under wraps. Even just with how I talk. So I have a conflicted relationship with wow, you're so smart, you're a genius. I can start to feel like I've disconnected with people. Like I'm a freak. I feel like people have given up on trying to understand what I'm trying to say. Or that they have checked out. I associate it with people making a whoosh motion with their hand over their head. If people don't understand me, I feel like I failed to explain something I care a great deal about. And I feel like I may have made someone feel bad. Also, I have other personality aspects too. I like cooking, card games, and adult cartoons. I like my cats. I don't really know how to help you with the problem. Most people are not on Reddit and most Reddit users won't notice your sap. I guess just try to get where they are coming from, or find a way to flip the script on them. I also implies that if you're into him, you have low standards. It's like, no dude, I went out with you for a reason. Yeah, if the person you're complimenting has to reassure you at the end of your compliment you're doing it wrong. Looks are given so much power by people. I think it's because most interactions are on a shallow or temporary level, and looks are the biggest most powerful factor of a quick evaluation. Plus attractiveness is hardwired into our psyches in a way that affects so much. I believe good looking people are used to being treated better, and thus have higher expectations and maybe even confidence level. Of course this isn't across the board. League is something that goes away after a relationship is established. You no longer worry about the less substantial checklist of attributes someone has and see them as a complete person. The good news is, evidently, you're gorgeous and probably outgoing and seem happy. The bad news is, it sounds like you're too gorgeous, etc. Most regular guys, and I'm one, sense that a very beautiful woman could get what she wants. Guys with better looks, more ambitious, more money, more outgoing, more attentive, etc. etc. We sense that, even though we seem, somehow, to have grabbed your attention for the moment, we would not be able to sustain your interest. So what's the point? Hence, out of his league. I get all that, and it does make sense to a point. But why can't I be into an average looking guy? What if I'm vibing him incredibly? It doesn't matter what I could have. It matters that I want him. TBH, this sounds like the plot of a movie. A drop dead gorgeous and together woman who can't find a man because none think they are good enough for her. Of course, it all works out in the end. Actually, there's already too many movies like that. It's so subjective. To me, it makes me feel like I'm a relationship. It may cause jealousy issues and insecurity on his behalf. It also makes me feel like a trophy. This also comes from being into abusive relationships, where it was clear I was out of their league and they did everything they could to make me feel like S, and make me feel like I wasn't good enough. I think appreciating your partner for their brain and looks is the best. The same goes for women. A few women I've dated have said this and it really turned me away. When you say that enough times, the other person starts to believe it. Why do we say that? Because we know there's someone better out there, and he's actively looking for you. Whatever we have you're attracted to, he has in excess, and he doesn't have any of our faults. And you'll be in his arms in no time, because he's a charming, handsome, stable, fun pillar of masculinity that makes us small and worthless in comparison. So we disqualify ourselves, knowing that the humiliation of thinking we are deserving of some amazing woman's attention, then being shown in a heartbeat that we are not, is far less painful than if you had just rejected us from the beginning. We are doing ourselves a favor by not giving into the temptation of self-worth. Is it paranoid? Maybe. But given that the sexual marketplace has always been a buyer's market for women, and men have always been cheap and disposable, I wouldn't call it unwarranted. Good luck with your inbox. I have said this, but it was because I used to feel like I was extremely lucky to be with a girl like you, for example. I mean, when I feel I don't give back as much as you give me, like your beautiness or maybe your personality and all of that, it makes me feel less of what my girlfriend would really deserve. Like, God, do I really deserve to be with someone like her? Or she would be better with another guy. I'm not enough, at least this is my experience. I understand what you mean. You do have a valid point. But please let the girl decide. And don't let these insecurities get in the way of you getting the girl you want. No matter if you feel she is in your league or not. I now know. It's just experience. I want to share this has affected my relationships already, and I've been working on it. Still, thanks for the advice. Hope this doesn't happen to you again. Thank you for sharing. This kind of perspective is what I needed. I'm guilty of doing this, except I told the girl I had feelings for her when we was both drunk. She started crying when she rejected me, then I ended up saying she was cute and out of my league because I thought saying that would cheer her up. That's actually kind of cute. I guess because of how randomly I said it, we both started laughing and she did cheer up in the end. Welcome to /r/dating_advice. Please keep the rules. https://www.reddit.com/r/dating_advice/about/rules/of/r/dating_advice in mind while participating here. Try your best to be kind. Report any rule-breaking behavior to the moderators using the report button. If it's urgent, send us a message. https://www.reddit.com/message/compose to=%2fr%2f dating_advice. We rely on user reports to find rule-breaking behavior quickly. Thanks. I'm a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit /message/compose/to=r/dating_advice if you have any questions or concerns. I've pretended that leagues aren't a thing. I've had more success with women over the years, and also a massive increase in failure, which is rarely redeemed in retrospect by the few successes, haha. But who cares, right? It only haunts me as a lingering reminder that failure is most likely a probability when my instincts are trying to tell me so. Point is, leagues exist whether you are subscribing to society's rating system or not. If she doesn't care personally, but cares what others may think, then the Council of Aesthetically Pleasing Humans has spoken, and you didn't make the cut. Haha. Don't listen to me.